Hey everyone, today I'm going to be teaching you how to RNG manipulate in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Now, this is a slightly different process from Pokemon Emerald, which I have a separate video for, so if you're interested in Emerald version, please go check out that video. And if you're interested in Fire Red and Leaf Green, it is entirely different from Ruby Sapphire or Emerald, and I have an entire playlist dedicated to those games. So if you're looking for that, please go check out those videos. With all that said, let's get underway. So before you even start RNGing, you're going to need a few things for both your computer and things to have collected in the game. In the game, the first thing you need to make sure is that your internal battery is dead. It'll play this message here, the internal battery has run dry, the game can be played, however clock-based events will no longer occur. This keeps your seed at 5A0 every single time, because Ruby and Sapphire seed is supposed to change every minute, and if the battery is dead, it can't do that. If your battery isn't dead and you don't get this message, the best thing I can say is either wait for it to die or remove the battery yourself. It's actually not very hard to remove it, so I would look up a video on how to do that. If you're playing on a like fake cartridge, a lot of people ask this. Usually they get treated as having a dead battery, even if the dead battery doesn't play. I know my fake games do that, so I would try out 5A0 for a fake game if you have one of those. Now, the next thing you're going to need to know in-game is your trainer ID and your secret ID. Your trainer ID you can see on this card here. The secret ID is a value that is a little bit more difficult to obtain. There are a few ways to go about getting it. One is to RNG the trainer ID at the start of the game yourself. The other way would be to have a shiny Pokemon already, and you can deduce your secret ID from said shiny Pokemon. Now, if you're not interested in getting a shiny, you actually don't need your secret ID value, but in this video, I'll be going for a shiny, and I'll be showing you all how to get shinies. The other thing you're going to need in-game is a Pokemon with Sweet Scent. So I have an Oddish here. You can use any Pokemon with Sweet Scent. Oddish are just by far the most common. You can get them as early as Route 114, so there you go. And if you're playing Ruby and Sapphire, I actually have a video on how to get a Surskit super early into the game, so you can actually start sweet scenting like I don't know, when is it, Route 102 after you've gotten the starter and the Pokedex, so check that video out if you're interested. I would also recommend having a few Master Balls and rare candies handy. So here are the rare candies. You can clone them in Emerald and then trade over Pokemon or some other thing like that. And I have some Master Balls as well. That's everything you're going to need within the game, and then take note of whatever route you're on. So I'm on Route 121. Out of game, you're going to need this program Eon Timer in the lower left-hand corner. I'm using Eon Timer 3.0 by Dylan Meadows, link in the description for that. Make sure you're on the 3rd gen tab, set your calibration to 0 and your pre-timer to 5,000. Your target frame, ignore for now. And then hit the settings cog in the little corner there. This menu will pop up. And ignore the action section for now. You just want to leave all this normal. The timer, however, you're going to pay attention to the console drop-down menu. And there's only two that matter to us. There's GBA and there's NDS-GBA. If you're on a Nintendo DS playing this like I am, you're going to want NDS-GBA. If you're playing on a GBA, which you actually... this encompasses much more than just a GBA, is what I'm trying to say. This encompasses the original Game Boy Advance, any model of Game Boy Advance SP, a Game Boy Micro, a Game Boy Player for the Nintendo GameCube, and the Adventure Mode in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire box. All is covered by the GBA section. So I'll be clicking NDS GBA since that's what I am playing on. If you're using any of the other options that I listed, click GBA. You're also going to need the program Pokefinder by Admiral Fish, and you're going to go into the Gen 3 Wild section. Now, in the Gen 3 Wild section, you're going to want to make sure you have a profile made for your game, which covers your trainer ID, your secret ID, the game, and if the internal battery is dead. So make sure you have the proper game selected. And if you actually followed along with my shiny starter tutorial, then you have the same trainer ID and secret ID as I do. So that's 14002, and the secret ID is 29131. So in this screen, we're going to pick what Pokemon we're going to go for. So here, you're just going to select an RNG method. Now, if you're playing on a GBA, or a DS and any GBA, I mean, so that's Game Boy Player, SP, Original, Micro, or a DS, you're going to want to click Method H1. If you're doing Ruby Sapphire Box Adventure Mode, you're going to want Method H4. And these are just the most common ones. You can technically hit any of these H methods on any console, but H1 is by far the most common on everything except Ruby and Sapphire Box, where H4 is by far the most common. So I'll be selecting Method H1. For your location, just type where you are. So I'm on route 121. Here you go. Now for the Pokemon, you can specify which Pokemon you want to find. I actually don't care which Pokemon I find here. And the encounter type is just what you are doing it for. So I'm doing in the grass, but you could select Safari Zone, Rock Smash, Surfing, Old Rod, Good Rod, Super Rod. I'm just doing a grass encounter. Gotta repick my route. Synchronize does not work in Ruby and Sapphire, so you don't have to do anything there. Initial advances leave at 0, and max advances leave at here. That was at 10,000, 100,000. If you care about IVs, you can actually start typing them into this section, and it'll filter by what IVs that you want. I also don't care about IVs. I'm just getting a shiny. Shiny. So there's a few options here. There's any, star, square, or star/square. If you don't care about what the shiny looks like in Sword and Shield, you pick star/square. However, the other two options are what the shinies will be in Sword and Shield. So if you want a star in Sword and Shield, select star. If you want a square shiny in Sword and Shield, select square. I also don't care, so I don't care about anything else. The only other things to be mindful of is make sure your seed is set to 5A0. Pokefinder, the newer versions, should automatically do this, but if it doesn't, type it in yourself. For delay, check the use delay box and type 261 if you're outside, but if you're in a cave, type 268. I'm outside, so I'll use 261. Then hit generate. You will get a bunch of frames. I'm going to go with the closest one, which is 7,395. And it's actually a square shiny, which is really funny. And it's also a really good frame. Got really good IVs and such. Level 26 just tells you what level it's going to be. These are all the IVs over here and the hidden power with the hidden power type and the nature and stuff. Ability, you're going to have to look that up on Cerebi, whichever ability that is, if you're looking for a specific Pokemon. Slot is the encounter slot, which is what these Pokemon here drop down as. So encounter slot 1 on this route is a Duskull. And you can see the slot changes when I change the Pokemon here. So if you look all the way on the right, encounter slot, that changes whenever I change Pokemon. Anyway, once you know what advances you're going to be going for, you can just hover that and hit Control-C to copy it, and then type your target frame right there. And now we're all set to actually do the RNG manipulation. So we're going to hit start on EonTimer, and it's going to count down. And when it counts down, we're going to soft reset. What you're going to do is bring up the start menu right away and hover over Sweet Scent in your party select. And wait. Now, I wouldn't expect to hit your frame on your first try. It's pretty hard. This is a 1/60th of a second timing window, so it's not like it is a particularly easy thing to get used to. However, within a few attempts, you should be able to get pretty accurate and get really close. You can be more picky about what IVs and what frames you're going to be going for, but keep in mind, because you're always using the same seed, that your options are limited to what exists. Now, if you want a specific frame to be shiny, like I did here, which is I RNG'd my trainer ID and secret ID to do that, you can watch my trainer ID RNG video, and you'll have to restart the game, of course, if you want that frame to be shiny, but it's always a give and take with the limited nature of Gen 3 games. But it should be pretty easy if you have rare candies to figure out what frame you've hit. And even if you don't have rare candies, it's still not going to be too hard unless you're in a really low level area. And even if you're in a low level area, you honestly only need like 5 rare candies. I overdid it with like 50 because I was doing something else, but with the multi-level IV calculator, which I'll show you when I inevitably miss the frame, we will be able to really figure out what stats we hit and what frame we hit. When the frame hits 0, we're just going to hit A to do the sweet scent. So we hit an oddish. So what you should do is catch it right away. And I'm already going to start setting up the IV calculator. So the IV calculator is in the lower right-hand corner of my screen, and I have it open in Pokefinder. You're going to select whichever generation you're in and the Pokemon that you've caught. So I hit oddish. Let's check it out. Let's see. I don't know the hidden power. The nature is adamant. Characteristic, all that we don't have. So it's level 26. 59. 36, 36, 44, 44, 24. And find IVs. So to tell you the IVs here, this is probably good enough in Pokefinder. So here's what we can do. So go back to the Gen 3 Wild section, and you're just going to type the IV ranges that you got in. Now, if you want to be more sure, and actually I will, just for example, go into your bag and give it a rare candy. Go into the IV calculator and click add row. So the row will be added, and you can type in the stats for the next level. And this will help make the IVs a little bit more accurate. So as you can see, it narrowed it down a little bit. Okay, so 8 through 11. Defense is 13, 20, 23, 20 through 21, and 15 or 16. Now, we're going to uncheck we're not going to uncheck. We're going to make the star square to any. Then we're aiming for advance 7,395. So what we're going to start is about 100 frames less than that. And we can still generate 100,000 frames. And hit generate. So there's 2 options that we could have hit. They're going to be the same because the way this game works, it's kind of hard to explain. But these are going to look like the identical frame. And you're going to have to try and find as many differentiating factors as you can. And that'll basically be level and encounter slot. So let's see. What is encounter slot 5? Oddish. And encounter slot 1 we know is a Duskull. So we must have hit advance 7,398. So what we do is copy that, and we're going to paste it into EonTimer. So as you can see, we were only 3 late, which is really, really close. So we're going to hit update, and we just give it another shot. We're just going to soft reset the game and give it another attempt. So when this counts down. Oops. Yeah, we're just repeating the same exact thing as before. All right, and hopefully on your next attempt, you'll be able to actually get the shiny. Nope. So if you can't seem to get your frame, maybe you try a few more times, you can just do the process that we did again. where we figure out its IVs and what frame we potentially hit. So this is timid with these IVs. Now, here's the thing. There's actually another very quick way to check. When you know you're close to your frame like we were, like I said, we were only 3 late. What you can do is clear all of the filters here. Hit generate and scroll to your frame. So right here. So, oh, oops, we don't want Duskull only. Generate. So you can scroll to your target, right? And you can see the Pokemon that you potentially got. So this is a level 28 Lanoon. So we're looking for a timid Pokemon at level 28. So it looks like a few frames early here. And Lanoon is probably... yeah. So, you can make an adjustment again. Again, this is like an easy assumption to make. Just because we knew that we were near our frame, right? We were a few late, we adjusted, we ended up a few early. It's the right level, it's the right encounter slot. There's a good chance that this is it. So all you can do is type what you hit, hit update, and try again. I'll pause again just so you guys don't have to watch. And there it is. With a few attempts and some good timing, you too could succeed at getting a shiny like this. I don't feel like using a Master Ball for this, but I don't know. An Ultra Ball straight up will work. Okay, I'll Master Ball. I didn't bring any strong guys on this save file. And there it is, Adamant Nature, and if you wanted to calc the IVs, you could, but you should feel pretty safe that, that this is what you're looking for. With that said, I hope you guys find this helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or join my Discord and check those out. If you could consider becoming a channel member or subscribing to my Twitch, I stream pretty regularly there. That'd be super great. If not, thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.